Tonight, all eyes on Tropical Storm Erin, now on track to become the first Atlantic hurricane of the season, set to become a major hurricane now. Tropical Storm Erin with winds up to 45 miles per hour right now. The forecast suggesting Erin could become a major hurricane by this weekend. Tonight, you'll see what the models now show. Will it hit the U.S. or will it turn? And the risk up and down the East Coast. Ginger Z is here. Also tonight, the drownings outside New York City and the race to save multiple swimmers caught in rip currents in the Northeast. A father did not survive, his son seriously hurt. And in a separate case, a grandmother drowning. Also tonight, that deadly shooting at a Target. Now we learn a grandfather and his 4-year-old granddaughter were shot and killed in the parking lot. Also, a worker collecting shopping carts was killed. Tonight, the high-stakes summit. President Trump, Vladimir Putin, now 3 days from now in Alaska. And the White House tonight is now calling this meeting a listening exercise. So will there be any deal to end the war? Chilling new details tonight, a gunman opening fire at the CDC, more than 500 rounds recovered, more than 150 windows shattered with bullets. You'll remember a police officer killed, and tonight some CDC workers are now sounding the alarm over the rhetoric involving vaccines. Tonight, 800 National Guard troops now arriving in Washington, D.C., President Trump's federal takeover of the police in the nation's capital. Tonight, the brazen armored car heist, surveillance video showing armed suspects approaching the driver. Authorities say stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars. Police officers rushing into a burning home consumed by smoke and flames. Inside, you can see a man crawling on the floor trying to get out. The meteorite crashing through a roof of a home. And tonight, scientists now say it's older than Earth itself. Tonight, Taylor Swift's big surprise and what millions of fans are now looking for tonight. Also, the scam targeting seniors across this country, thieves stealing millions now, pretending they're grandchildren in need, and what to look out for.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Tuesday night. We do begin tonight with what could become the first major Atlantic hurricane of the season. All eyes tonight on Tropical Storm Erin and the potential tracks. It is still early, but the models do have it coming very close to the eastern U.S. Of course, the question now, will it hit the U.S. or will it turn back out to sea? Tropical Storm Erin is now expected to become a major hurricane by the weekend. No matter what happens, at the very least, rip currents will be a real concern along the East Coast, from Florida all the way up to Maine. This time-lapse satellite image tonight showing Tropical Storm Erin swirling over the open Atlantic, 45-mile-an-hour winds already. And you know it's that time of year again when we show you the spaghetti model, showing the potential paths. Some bringing the storm very close to the East Coast, and many of these paths, at least for now, showing it being held at bay right there off the East Coast. And amid the warnings about rip currents that will come tonight, the waters have already been deadly. Rescuers on jet skis rushing to help multiple swimmers in Seaside Heights, New Jersey. A father died, his son seriously hurt. And in a separate incident right outside New York City, a grandmother drowning off Brooklyn's Manhattan Beach. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z tonight, tracking this again with us. And Ginger, they now believe this will become a major hurricane. The question, of course, will it be held off the coast, which, of course, is what we're all hoping for here.
I join you in that hope, but the computer models are currently, a majority of them, keeping it off the coast. And so as we get closer, because this thing's still more than a week away, we will, of course, become more confident in saying that and giving people the all clear. But for now, let's dive in, because it's still more than 1,600 miles east of the northern Leeward Islands, and it's moving west at 22 miles per hour. Now it's a tropical storm, but by Friday, it should be a hurricane. And then by Sunday, a major Cat 3 hurricane passing to the north of Puerto Rico. A reminder this time of year, that cone represents where the center could move, and it expands over time because we know it could have a deviation west or east. More impacts for the Virgin Islands or the Leeward Islands, and definitely Puerto Rico if it goes on that southern part. This is what we're watching steering it, the Bermuda high, and the more that shrinks, the more it hugs it. More impacts to Bermuda, less to the United States. That trough will squeeze it between the high, and that's why we think that a majority of this will stay away from a landfalling storm. But I can promise you, you got beach plans next week. You will see rip currents and high surf along the East Coast, David.
We'll be watching it every day here with you right up to this hurricane potentially coming closer to the U.S. And obviously, as they say, it will be a major hurricane now. So that's, of course, why all eyes are on this. Ginger, thank you. We'll see you in the morning. Now, as I mentioned off the top, the dangers of rip currents that will come with this. Already here in the Northeast, 2 drownings reported in just the past 24 hours. Rescuers racing to get to several swimmers trapped in currents. ABC's Ike Ejiochi tonight.
Tonight, relief from record-breaking heat turning deadly in the Northeast.
Once it gets in your lungs, it's tough.
This was the scene in Seaside Heights, New Jersey around 7 p.m. Monday. Members of the fire department scuba team using jet skis, racing multiple distressed swimmers caught in rip currents to shore. Eileen Russo saw it all unfold.
I don't know if they knew how to swim, but like I said, even if you knew how to swim, the water was just too rough for you to handle.
The 5 swimmers, all part of the same group, were caught in a rip current. Authorities say a 31-year-old man drowned, and his 16-year-old son was seriously hurt.
The ocean's a dangerous playground. It could take you in a second.
Not long before that rescue, another incident in New York City. A 77-year-old grandmother, Ludmila Marshenko, spotted off Brooklyn's Manhattan Beach. Citizen app video showing her being raced to an ambulance. She was pronounced dead at the hospital. In both incidents, lifeguards had just left for the day. David, officials here at Manhattan Beach say there's a moderate risk for rip currents here tonight, and they're begging people to stay out of the water when no lifeguards are on duty. David?
Ike Ejiochi with us here tonight. Ike, we appreciate it. This evening we are learning chilling new details about this deadly rampage at a Target store in Austin, right during the height of back-to-school shopping. Well, tonight we've learned a grandfather and his 4-year-old granddaughter were shot and killed in the parking lot, as well as a Target worker who was collecting shopping carts. The gunman then escaping in that grandfather's car. Here's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, authorities in Austin say a man with known mental health problems, Ethan Ninecker, used a family member's handgun to kill a Target employee collecting shopping carts and then killed a grandfather and his 4-year-old granddaughter.
The suspect, Ethan Ninecker, first shot Mr. Martinez Machuca as he was collecting carts in the parking lot. He then approached Chow's family vehicle, shooting and killing Mr. Chow and the 4-year-old before assaulting Mrs. Chow.
Authorities say Ninecker stole the Chow's car and crashed it, then went on a rampage, trying to steal a water truck and then assaulting a woman and stealing her white Volkswagen. That car, seen here on another driver's vehicle camera, seen damaged and driving erratically.
He also attempted to break into a Waymo vehicle, vandalized the home of an acquaintance, and was later seen naked in a residential backyard.
Police using a taser to bring him down.
He said that he was Jesus, and there was really no reason whatsoever given. It was a completely random choosing of the victims.
David, this suspect has a lengthy record of violent crimes, and he's now facing multiple murder charges. Authorities also want to find out how he got hold of a weapon. David.
Trevor Ault reporting again tonight. Trevor, thank you. Now to the high-stakes summit between President Trump and Vladimir Putin, now 3 days away. Tonight, the White House trying to lower expectations, now calling the meeting a listening exercise. Ukraine's President Zelensky not invited, so will there be any deal to stop this war? Here's Rachel Scott.
Tonight, as President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin prepare to sit down in Anchorage, Alaska, the White House trying to lower expectations, calling the summit merely a listening exercise.
The president is agreeing to this meeting at the request of President Putin, and the goal of this meeting for the president is to walk away with a better understanding of how we can end this war.
Ukrainian President Zelensky is not invited to the summit, but 2 officials tell ABC News Zelensky will take part in a virtual meeting tomorrow with Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and European allies. Zelensky warning the U.S. Putin is not to be trusted.
Він точно не готується до припинення вогню.
He's definitely not preparing for a ceasefire or an end to the war, Zelensky said. Putin is determined only to present a meeting with America as his personal victory and then continue acting exactly as before.
President Trump said any kind of peace deal will likely involve Ukraine giving up some of its land to Russia. But today, President Zelensky was blunt, saying there will be no exchange of territory without security guarantees, David.
Rachel Scott live at the White House. Rachel, thanks as always. We're also learning more tonight about the deadly shooting at CDC headquarters in Atlanta. Authorities now revealing that more than 500 rounds were recovered, nearly 200 bullets striking multiple buildings, more than 150 windows shattered. The suspect allegedly blaming the COVID vaccine for his mental illness. An officer was killed. And tonight, the suspect's own father calling 911, fearing his son was involved in this. You will hear his frantic call. Faith Abube at the CDC tonight.
Tonight, stunning new details in that attack on the CDC that left a Georgia police officer dead. Authorities revealing hundreds of shots were fired. saying the suspect targeted the federal agency over his mistrust of the COVID-19 vaccine. Police say they recovered more than 500 shell casings at the scene, nearly 200 bullets striking 6 CDC buildings, more than 150 windows shattered. Tonight, law enforcement agents saying the suspect, Patrick Joseph White, had written documents that express his discontent with the COVID-19 vaccine.
The overall content of one of the documents was more of wanting to make the public aware of his distrust of the vaccines.
Neighbors and police say the shooter claimed the COVID vaccine made him depressed and suicidal. But medical experts say there's no evidence the vaccine causes any of those symptoms. The day of the shooting, the suspect's own father calling 911.
I'm very worried that he might have been involved in this shooting today.
The call obtained by ABC affiliate WSB.
I don't know if he was involved. I need some help.
Police confirming the shooter died by suicide after the attack. Tonight, some CDC employees telling ABC News they're traumatized and believe HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s vaccine rhetoric has fueled threats against the agency. RFK condemning the shooting, but still criticizing the CDC's efforts to get the public vaccinated against COVID.
They were saying things that were not always true, and public health agencies should never do that.
Public health officials dispute those claims.
And David, just hours ago, the CDC director reiterating in an email to all agency employees that misinformation has now led to deadly consequences. David.
Faith Abube live there with the CDC. Faith, thank you. Now to President Trump's federal takeover of the police in the nation's capital. The first of 800 National Guard troops now arriving today. And here's Mary Bruce.
Tonight, the first of 800 National Guard troops arriving in D.C. as President Trump's unprecedented move to take over law enforcement in the nation's capital is now underway. The White House surging 850 federal agents and officers across the city overnight, making 23 arrests. Attorney General Pam Bondi, now in charge of D.C. Metropolitan Police, meeting today with Mayor Muriel Bowser.
What I'm focused on is the federal surge and how to make the most of the additional officer support that we have.
The president vowing to clean up the Capitol and get homeless people off the streets.
Homeless individuals will be given the option to leave their encampment, to be taken to a homeless shelter, to be offered addiction or mental health services, and if they refuse, they will be susceptible to fines or to jail time.
The president claims crime in the city is spiraling out of control, but the mayor points to official crime stats. Violent crime down 26% since last year, now at a 30-year low.
As of now, we're told the National Guard still has not been given a specific mission yet. The expectation, though, is that they won't begin their role in earnest until Monday, and it's still not clear how long the Guard will be here in D.C. David.
All right, Mary Bruce also live at the White House tonight. Mary, thank you. We are tracking video coming in late today. A train derailment near Gordon, Texas. That's west of Dallas. Here are the pictures. Union Pacific reporting 35 cars derailed, potentially hazardous materials on board. The cars piling up amid heavy smoke and fire. Authorities say none of the cars are leaking so far and no one injured. Now to the search for answers after that deadly explosion at the U.S. steel plant south of Pittsburgh. Crews searched the rubble for hours. 2 people found dead, 1 rescued, at least 10 were hospitalized. Time-lapse video capturing the blast and the smoke. Nearby residents told to stay indoors for a time. Governor Josh Shapiro visiting the site today, promising a full investigation. To the economy tonight, inflation remaining unchanged last month. Consumer prices were 2.7% higher in July than they were a year ago. Gas and grocery prices were lower, but airfare and some goods impacted by tariffs went up. The market's closing up on the news, the Dow gaining 483 points, in fact. Investors now hoping there will be an interest rate cut come September. When we come back on this busy news night, the scam targeting seniors across this country, thieves stealing millions, pretending they're grandchildren, and what to look out for. Also, we remember an actress tonight from a favorite sitcom. The brazen armored car heist, and you'll see it, surveillance video showing armed suspects approaching the driver and what they got away with. And tonight, Taylor Swift's big surprise making news, what millions of fans are now looking for tonight. In a moment. Tonight, a police manhunt is now underway for two suspects wanted for an armored truck heist in Philadelphia. Surveillance video showing one suspect armed with a rifle, the other a handgun. They approached the driver, who had just made a delivery. Police say they made off with about $700,000 in cash, leaving in a black Acura. The vehicle recovered a short time later. Authorities believe the suspects are linked to other robberies. Tonight, more than a dozen people facing federal charges for an alleged scam targeting more than 400 seniors from California to New York, from Florida to Massachusetts. They allegedly posed as grandchildren, nieces, and nephews, calling with fake emergencies, convincing them they needed money to be sent right away. Federal prosecutors say the group operated out of a call center in the Dominican Republic. The suspects allegedly netting $5 million from their victims. The cash either wired, mailed, or placed on gift cards, so beware. Tonight, the dramatic body camera video showing police racing in to save a man in a burning home in Tampa. Officers running into the flames, a man spotted inside, crawling on the floor, trying to avoid the smoke. Officers pulling him to safety. The man treated for smoke inhalation. He is expected to recover. Brave work by those officers. When we come back tonight, the meteorite crashing through a roof of a home and what scientists have now revealed about this. It's quite something. And Taylor Swift's surprise announcement tonight and what fans are now searching for. To the index of other news tonight, scientists now confirming it was a meteorite that smashed through the roof of a home in McDonough, Georgia, and that it was 20 million years older than Earth itself. Nicknamed the McDonough meteorite, it was seen streaking across the sky in June. Researchers say it's more than 4.5 billion years old. We do have a passing to note tonight. Actress Danielle Spencer has died after a long battle with cancer. Best known for her role as Dee Thomas on the 1970s sitcom What's Happening. Former co-star and longtime friend Haywood Nelson calling her brilliant, loving, positive, a pragmatic warrior. Danielle Spencer was 60. Tonight, Taylor Swift with a couple of major surprises for fans. Not only has she revealed her 12th album is now on the way, she announced it by making her first appearance on the New Heights podcast with boyfriend Travis Kelce and his brother Jason.
So I wanted to show you something.
Okay, what do we got?
We got
A briefcase.
Yep.
Mint green with TS on it.
Yep.
What's in it?
This is my brand new album, The Life of a Showgirl.
TS12!
The announcement of her 12th album posted at 12:12 this morning on this, the 12th day of August. Fans now combing over the video, looking for any possible clues in the background there. The full episode posts tomorrow. When we come back right here tonight, the 11-year-old boy who just set a world record and where he held the American flag. You'll see it in a moment. Finally tonight here, the parents who saw something in their son and started climbing, but they never imagined this. The 11-year-old, the American flag, and the record, America Strong. Tonight, the 11-year-old boy from Colorado Springs, Colorado, reaching new heights and shattering world records. Sam Evermore has been climbing since he could walk. His dad, Joe, encouraging his passion, climbing right along with him. The two training together, getting stronger and better every day, every year. 3 years ago, when Sam was just 8, father and son summiting El Capitan in California's Yosemite National Park. After 4 days and 3 nights, Sam making history, becoming the youngest person in the world to ever reach the top, simply using ropes to get there. And tonight, Sam making history again. Off and on for a year now, father and son have been trying to reach the top of the famed Matterhorn in the Swiss Alps between Switzerland and Italy, one of the most iconic and dangerous peaks in the world. Last year, they made it within 1,000 feet before having to turn back. The weather conditions too dangerous. But tonight, 1 year later, father and son back at it. A documentary team following with a drone, climbing the mountain at sunrise, through the snow with a professional climbing crew, helping them ascend the difficult, dangerous terrain up nearly 15,000 feet. And this is the moment Sam, holding the American flag, makes it to the top.
All right. That's the summit. Congratulations. Good job.
Tonight, Sam is now the youngest American ever to summit the Matterhorn. And right here tonight,
hey, David.
Sam and Dad Joe back at base camp, telling us they got a little sunburn, but they got a world record too.
I'm hoping that my story inspires fathers and sons to get out and do something that seems impossible.
Making us proud, Sam. I'm David Muir. I'll see you here tomorrow. Good night.
David Muir, the most watched newscast in America. And now, ABC's World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program for the 3rd year in a row.